Other places where flux change shows up, very, very practical basis. And here's one. Electric guitar. Electric guitar, no amplifier, quiet. It's a solid body. The body can't vibrate very much, and so we're not going to get very much sound out of this. We have to have some way to pick up the vibration. Here's the way you pick up the vibration. Underneath the string, there's a magnet, a very strong magnet with a coil of wire that's wrapped around it. It sits underneath there. The magnet magnetizes the string which sits above it because it's a steel string. Then the magnetized string waves back and forth like this as it vibrates. Oh, well, there's a coil, and if I have a magnet moving around inside a coil or near a coil, I have a changing magnetic field inside the coil, therefore I have a changing flux inside the coil, induces EMF, induces a current. Oh, and you take that and you hook up a wire to it, and you take that wire and you plug it into an amplifier. Oh yeah. And then you have the basis for amplifying your music. And so you get your electric guitar here. Oh yeah. And I'm going to turn that up just a little bit because I want to do some other things with it. Excellent. Now, here's the thing. I can prove this is how it works because what the coil's picking up is a flux change. Oh, we used these flashlights in class last time. There's a rotating magnet which produces a changing magnetic field inside a coil of wire, and it's a flux change that makes the light bulbs light, right? Well, I can have a rotating magnet near this coil. Oh yeah, picks up the flux change and amplifies it. Anything that makes a flux change will be picked up by a guitar amplifier, motor. And it's got a little thing inside it that makes the current like switch different directions. It's got a commutator, which means current's going one way, current's going the other way. Oh yeah, flux change, ahoy. If you want to make a guitar pickup, it's real easy. Here's what it takes. Coil of wire and then a real strong magnet. And so I'll show you a way to generate like an electric musical instrument. Okay, here's a coil of wire and I stuck inside it a big bolt, and the big bolt's got magnets stuck to it. I'm going to plug this coil into the amplifier. So I'm going to unplug the guitar, plug in the coil. All right, here we go. Unplug the guitar, plug in the coil of wire. We're going to use that as a pickup. We're going to crank it up a little bit. Excellent. About that much, I think, is probably safe. Oh, that was cool. And then I've got this magnet inside the coil. Oh, and check it out. If the magnet moves in and out of the coil, there's kind of like flux change going on, and so it's producing an EMF. But the best thing to do is this. I'm going to take this, hang it like this. Here's an oven rack out of a toaster oven I no longer needed, which I'm going to hook onto here. And then I've got like the electric oven rack. Oh yeah. Because what it's doing is this. As this thing's bouncing up and down, it's changing the flux inside the coil. It's a little magnetic pickup. It's a little magnetic pickup. And then you can use this thing. I can use it as a probe for wherever there happens to be like changing flux, this coil of wire. And so you can use it to do like this thing, work the same way. And you can make all manner of electric instruments this way. Well, there's another thing that I want to show you that works like this, and that's this. Information these days, stored magnetically. Back before people recorded music on their computer, they used to record it on cassette tapes. Oh, yes. And I remember I used to like make mix tapes for friends. You take the records out and spin them and make a tape. And this was some effort to do this. Tape like this, it's a piece of magnetic material, and it's actually magnetic material on a plastic strip, and it's magnetized in different directions. And the changing magnetization is what records the information. And if I take this and move it near a coil, it makes a changing magnetic field inside the coil, which induces a change in flux in the coil, and I get a current in the coil. And you can read this off. This is an old David Bowie tape. And they're just running it back and forth across the playhead. I did surgery on the little recorder here. And it's like, yeah, whatever, Brian. We don't use that kind of stuff anymore. Right, but you do use credit cards and debit cards, okay? And on the back of them, there's a little strip, and there's information about you recorded on that strip, and it's recorded magnetically, okay? And to be able to access that information, what do? You swipe it through a machine. What's inside the machine? A coil of wire. Oh, yeah. And so you're swiping the little strip over top of the coil of wire. Oh, yeah. That's the information on this side of my card. And over here? Oh, yeah, I don't know what that is saying about me over here, but it's something. Oh, got to say, too, my cards tend to go bad after about, 3 or 4 months. And then they'll say, are you around, strong magnetic fields very often? Yeah, sort of, kind of. But you've noticed this. When your card goes bad, there's something about, punching it on the keypad costs more than swiping it. So if you take it in, this happens to me a lot. I try to make the card go. What does the clerk do? They try to swipe it really fast. And there's people who can do the swipes. It's like, whew, oh yeah, all the way through. And they try to go super, super fast. This happens to me all the time. Why, if the magnetic field on your card was getting weak from exposure to strong permanent magnets, why would it help to swipe the card faster? What would that do? Talk to your neighbors about this. I'm going to call a name out of the box and say, use the words we've talked about today to explain why this helps. Why does this help? What do you think? What's happening is you're having a moving magnet through a coil, which makes a flux change. Well, if the strip gets weaker, the magnetic field gets weaker, the flux decreases. What do we have to increase to make up for that? Or do we have to decrease to make up for that? Increase the velocity because I'm going to decrease time. The amount of time that it takes for that flux change to happen, ultimately. And so it's going to use that equation that we had for flux change, flux delta V, the voltage that you produce, is equal to delta phi divided by delta t. Card gets weak, flux gets less. You got to make this less as well, so you go faster.